Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within special operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health, intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
Proceed to your post assignment. All units proceed to your post assignment.
All right. Welcome back.
MisFitNation, the MisFitNation show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience need to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, Stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_MisFitNation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation, your Thursday after dinner show. We know you have other things you can do, other podcasts you can fly with, but tonight you chose to fly with us. Rack up those frequent flyer miles, subscribe, share, like us, spread the word so that we can keep sharing stories of great Americans, great humans, great people around the world so that you can feel inspired by what they have gone through and what they are doing. PSA to everybody. remember, when things are getting tough, when you're in that darkness, don't make that permanent solution. Just like the opening says, do not make that permanent solution to a temporary problem. A day tomorrow is better with you than it is without you. Reach out. We will answer. info@themisfitnation.com. Steven with a PH at themisfitnation.com. Jake at themisfitnation.com. Send us a message. Give us your number. We will call you and we'll stay on the phone with you until you get the help you need. Or call 988 and follow the prompts. If you're a veteran, take option 1. We need you here to hang out with us and see more great things go on in this world. Tonight, we have an inspiration on our show. He is the #1 edutainer in the world with a purpose to awaken dreamers and a mission to edify and uplift humanity. Known as the inspiration engineer and legacy-driven brand strategist, he is a TEDx speaker, coach, and renowned strategist who has made a significant impact empowering individuals using his proprietary RISE and S.I.P methodology framework. So without further ado, let's welcome Cauveé to the Misfit Nation show. Welcome, Cauveé.
What's going on, champion? I'm so excited, grateful to be here, Rich. It's just been an honor. I love what you guys are doing. I love your mission, your purpose here to serve, and I'm ready to get right into it.
Outstanding. I got a little worried when you said you had to go relieve yourself right before the show, and then it was taking a while. So, oh man, something bad happened. So
no, not at all. I was like, hopefully we got enough time. I didn't know we was going to go live. Usually, everybody's got a different setup. So thank you for your patience.
No problem. Now, Cauveé, I gave basically your 30-second elevator speech there about you right there. If you don't mind, tell the Misfit Nation a little more about you from as far back as you want to go to how we got on this ride.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on some of the key milestones or pillars throughout my journey. And it starts with what I talk about as far as breaking the box. From age 5, I was writing poetry. And my father used to give me what I call these hero speeches. And he would say, son, anything you set your mind to, you can do. Anything that you believe, you can make it happen. And so around age 11, I get my first mentor. We go in the studio and he's like, hey, do you want to hear some of my R&B music? And I'm like, absolutely, sure. So he takes me into his home studio. And then he asked me a crazy question, Rich. He goes, do you want to make music yourself? And I'm 11 years old, like, of course, like, duh, right? So I start hitting the pads, I start hitting the buttons, playing with the keys, doing all the things. And I go into what we know now as a peak state. We were there for 5 hours, felt like I was there for 2 minutes. Wow. The next day, I go to my father. I said, Dad, I figured out what I'm going to do. I figured out what I'm going to be. And my dad's excited. He said, what is this, son? What are you going to do with your life? I said, I'm going to be a musician. My dad's like, you can't do that. And like all that high energy, just it felt like somebody sucked all the wind out of my stomach. But instead of that being a moment where I was just, taken by what my dad said, it infuriated me. I talk about he gave me the gift of ferocity. So immediately he became public enemy #1. And I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to show you. So we ended up selling a concert of 1,209 people, made my high school $12,000. Wow. Now, at age 18, your ego, you're big headed. You're like, man, I'm the stuff, right? And even though I didn't make any money from that because I did it as a school project, they said, well, we can't pay you, whatever, made up some excuse. I was like, no worries. I'll do it bigger. I'll do it better. So fast forward to now, that was 2002. This is now 2004, going into 2005. My sophomore concert, we sold 337 tickets out of 3,300 tickets. Wow. Okay. Now, 337 is still good numbers. That's going to sell out majority of venues, majority of places. But when you're in an auditorium that holds over 3,000 seats, you can literally hear a pin drop. Like you can hear the crickets, right? So now I have my second gift of ferocity. And I ended up dropping out of school. I couldn't even go to class because people would ask me, how was the show? Like everybody on campus knew about it. Like everyone knew. And I would say, you should have effing came. Like I was so bitter and so frustrated and so mad. I dropped out of college because of it, even with good grades. Like I was like, I'm out of here. So now fast forward from 2005 to 2010, I'm working corporate jobs, still doing events, still hustling in the background. But what was so crucial and so key was the jobs I was doing was sales jobs. In 2010, I worked for University of Phoenix, and I helped a lady named Melissa Briscoe get her associate's degree. Rich, by far, this was one of the most monumental moments in my life, next to that first concert, because I had never worked with somebody and helped them achieve such crazy results when they were faced with so many obstacles. She wanted to be a teacher, and I was in the education programs. And she had her husband that didn't want her to go to school. She had kids. She had to fly to another state in Illinois to get licensed. Like, she had so many challenges to overcome. And every sales job that I was doing prior to that, it was just, selling you the product, the offer, whatever, and then I'm done. Well, with this, I actually had to mentor, and that was like my lead in to coaching. So from 2010 to now, fast forward to 2016, I keep facing the same wall. Like, I can't get over the hurdle. And so that we know, and we can talk some real numbers like today, so everybody gets it. If you're a musician and they say, do your one thing, streaming pays 0.004. So it's really bad crypto, right? Like, per stream. So that means you got to do 24 million streams to even make $100,000 a year. All right. Just so that we got some numbers so we get it. So I'm keep hitting my head against the wall. I start now learning in 2016 how the Facebooks of the world are built. I start learning about venture capital and how these companies raise money. And I'm like, wait a minute. So wait, entrepreneurs want to get on podcasts. Musicians want to get on the radio. Like, it's the same principle, but it functions different. This comes with mentorship. This comes with, different ways of monetization being generated or being given to startups. And I was like, I'm going to create a hybrid. So I'm going to stop there, because this is now 2016, right, where now I'm starting to put some things together. And I was like, okay, I'm going to play in both worlds between being an entertainer and being an educator. And that was when I started getting into what I do now. So I'm going to stop there so that you can ask some other questions.
And that's where the word edutainer came up. So I was like, this edutainer, I'm going to probably mess this word up 95% of the time. And then you had inspirational engineer on top. I said, which one should I go with? I'll go with edutainer. So I think that's a pretty cool word. Now we understand the why behind it. And I've known a lot of dudes and dudettes when I was in the service that were heavy into music, and they were going to Full Sail University to try to get their music degrees and stuff. Nice. And then they also had that light in their head, like you're saying, to go do something bigger and become that entrepreneur. And then they had to make a split-second decision. Which way do I go? On which path do I turn? You seem to have you've seen the light when you were given those hiccups. You seen the light when you got the hiccups and were able to, I guess, get past them. How did that feel inside you to get past that hiccup? And then how does it feel now, like you said, when you helped her get her associates, when you get more people to get to their next goal? How does that feel for you?
Yeah, man, like it's funny because the purpose and the mission had evolved over time. Okay. I want to first off and start by saying there's a really popular quote from Steve Jobs that says, it doesn't make sense when you're going through it, but looking back, all the pieces start to make sense. Right. And for me at this point, 2016, I had all these skills that I had acquired, but I was still confused as to my identity. All right. So I'm going to give you an example. If you speak English, Spanish, Italian, Mandarin, and French, nobody's going to say, okay, but which one do you speak? You're like, I speak all of them, right? Like, that just makes sense. When it comes to skills, we identify who you are by the skill that you have. So if you are, for example, in marketing, let's say you write ad copy, you're a copywriter, you do graphics, you do advertising, everybody can understand that is all marketing. But for me, I was a poet. I was an audio engineer because I was engineering my own music. I was a singer. I was a rapper. I was a salesperson. I was a good event organizer, event promoter. I was a salesperson, and I was a good marketer for social media back in the MySpace days, right? Now, I hadn't even become a public speaker and a coach yet, okay? These are starting to evolve. So I go to my community. I had a community of about 1,000 people at the time, and I was like, guys, this is my challenge. I listed out all my skills, 10 different skills, and 10 different titles, right? And I'm like, what ones do you see represent me? So they took the 10, voted it down to 5, and these are different titles because I was like, I'm inauthentic to myself. When I was at Chamber of Commerce, I was a sales guy or a marketer. When I was around musicians or creatives, I was an audio engineer or a musician or a singer or what, right? I'm changing up my identity around my skill, around whom I'm with. I'm feeling inauthentic to myself. So they voted 10 to 5, 5 to 2, 2 to 1. So going back to your question, when you ask me, how does that make you feel to help people accomplish major goals in their life? There are three things that light me up, and it's by far the top three things every single time. One, if I'm freestyling for somebody and they're giving me words in real time, it's like magic when in their eyes. I can't explain it. It happens every time you start freestyling and using things that the audience gives you, and they get lit up by that experience. It's like a magical experience. I can't explain it. The second one is when you give somebody a nugget of wisdom. They're struggling on something and they're like, how do I do X, Y, or Z? And you tell them this is what you do, and the light bulb goes off, right? And when that light bulb goes off, it's very similar to the first thing that I just shared. You see a little bit of magic. The third thing is they apply what you told them. Now they get the outcome that you told them that they were going to get. And that is the third thing. Those three things together is what it just lights me up. I live for it. I love to do it. I'm very passionate about what I do. And it's the most amazing feeling in the world.
And it definitely gives you that purpose to wake up every morning. You wake up in the morning and say, I got this purpose. I can inspire. I can change someone's mindset to maybe see that they're not running into a wall. That wall is just something that's there. They just got to go through the door that's in that wall and make it to the other side.
Absolutely. Our purpose, my mission is to awaken dreamers. And, 85% of people worldwide work a job they hate just to get a check. And I love what Robin Sharma says. He says that at some point people become deteriorating children, which is they choose this money and something I hate just to put food on the table. And I've always asked, the question, like, what would the world look like if 85% of people did something that they actually loved? Did something that actually, fuels other mentees and people that are coming up behind you? How much would our world be different if people did that? And it's really kind of crazy. So yeah, man, it definitely fuels me to continue showing up for creators, entrepreneurs, and personal brands for sure.
And it goes that saying, a lot of people out there are just living to work right now instead of working to live. So
absolutely.
When you're happy getting up in the morning, you're not really working. You're just doing something you enjoy. But then you get to have fun after, because you leave everything there at the office or wherever you work. If it is in the studio, because then you're having fun in the studio. If you're a police officer and you love being the police officer and you're in the community, you're having a good day because you're helping the community. A firefighter saving people, a soldier going to do his job and bring his brother and sister home with him. Everyone, when you're doing that, you're living your dream and you're working to live. But if you just waking up in the morning and say, damn, I have to get up now, I have to go to work, that's when that walls will start creeping up around you. And that happens where you just basically die inside.
Yeah, it's a sad thing. I think one of my favorite quotes is, you either live with the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And majority of people, they think like, if I get this job and I go a more safe route or a traditional route, it's safer. And it's like, well, it's an illusion of safety. And at the end of your life, I don't want people I love my parents to life. Like, this is no slant on my parents, but my mother, she went into senior HR work, but she's an amazing interior decorator. She also had the desire to be an attorney, but those days are gone. Like, that's not going to happen. My father built a house with like no architecture or engineering background experience. Like, who does this, right? Like, he's got genius within him. Instead, he chose to work in a factory. And there's so many people throughout the world that have these kind of stories. They've got this genius inside of them. They even have this goal inside of them. And whether it was a parent or a teacher or a friend or somebody in your family, they told you couldn't do it, and you believed it. And then you made those choices. So I don't knock having a job. Like, if you go to your job, whatever that is, and you love it, like it lights you up, do that. Like, whatever it is that's going to light you up. I just am not in alignment to you're doing something and almost like selling your soul, if you will, in order for a check. Like, that's just not what I stand behind. So I hope people, that really resonates with a lot of people out there today.
Yeah, it comes to the saying, I have to versus I get to. And I get to go to work today instead of I have to go to work today. Like, you get to do what you do every day because you enjoy it. You love doing what you do. And that's what you're inspiring others to do this too. And hopefully they're seeing that whole picture. I know, just like when we're kids and our parents tell us something, we don't see the whole picture. As we get older, the picture starts to get a little clearer that, oh, maybe they were right back then. I'm not going to tell them they were right, but they were right. And they're going to say the same thing to you.
It's so funny because I've been in a lot of these. I don't know if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, but there's these spaces, which is basically like Clubhouse, where everybody can get on these audio chats and you can chat with, up to like 10 people. We had like 500 people in our space the other day, but a lot of creatives, people in Web3, and I'm learning about Web3 and digital art and all these things. But the reason why I bring this up is with a lot of entrepreneurs, they put their creative talent on the back burner because they couldn't figure out a way to monetize it. And I'll never forget, man, there was this guy, he's a part of my circle, multi-millionaire, and he had a Q&A on Instagram, like, ask me anything. And I was like, do you love what you do? And he was like, no, not really. And I thought that was interesting, right? Like, to be a multimillionaire and you're not happy either. I think for me, it's about finding that balance between it's my purpose, I can get profit, and I can make an impact on other people. And if you find that sweet spot, do that. Like that, I guess I'll leave it on this note. From a lot of people think work means struggle or work means hard labor, and it doesn't have to be, right? We get to choose. And I think I would like to see more people across the world experience work and fun being one and the same, and being able to make money from your work, which is fun. I think a lot of people don't know what that experience even feels like. And it's beyond to a lot of people. And I'm hoping that people get a chance to find that before they transition into whatever's next.
Definitely. And you brought up the monetization and how everyone is trying to find that easy button on the internet now, on social media, to monetize their so-called brand. What is personal branding and why is it so important to them to make that monetization leap?
Yeah, it's a great question. I like to use analogies, and I've been talking about on a lot of different shows what I'm calling the personal brand portfolio. So first off, what's new and how I'm growing in my life is learning about venture capital. And when you see Shark Tank, you think that's the way it works, and that's not actually how it works, actually. So I've been networking with a lot of venture capitalists and people that play at a very high level, like 18 million to 100 million, just so that we know in numbers what we're talking about, and just really learning that game, like really understanding it. And so one of the things and one of the topics that are very popular right now amongst their communities, people in the VC space, is that startups that are safer to invest in, and look at my air quotes for those that are just listening and not seeing, that are safer are ones that have multiple monetization strategies or ways to make money. Okay. To me, the personal brand portfolio is the epitome of that idea. So what is a personal brand portfolio, Cauveé? When you look at the highest level, it's people like The Rock, right? We knew him as a wrestler. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking, right? Then he went into being an actor, right? Now he's got a skincare line. He's got a tequila line. He's got Project Rock, which is a merchandise line, all kinds of sponsorships, all from his personal brand. We see this at the rising level of like a Jessica Alba, right? And everybody in between. And there's a lot of people that you can name that are doing just that. They use their personal brand, and then they have a portfolio or a suite of businesses and companies that are attached to that. In the entrepreneur world, that looks like Grant Cardone, that looks like Gary Vaynerchuk. That these guys are personal brands getting paid a lot of money to come and keynote speak for an event, but at the same time, they've got other assets, other brands and companies attached to that. So I think a lot of people, Rich, what I've found is they have so many things they want to do in this world. They have so many things that the ones that have chosen to bring their creative genius to the world, traditionally, they have a lot of things they like to do. And it's like, well, which one do I do? I always tell people from what I learned is launch the one thing that you think you want to do right now, right? Systemize that, scale that, pivot to the next one. That was one of the biggest failures and mistakes that I made. Was I was a public speaker, I was a coach, I was an entertainer. So then it's like, okay, well, which one are you? Like, now I'm confused. Versus like you scale one. Now, you scale maybe one coaching program or one coaching offer, right? Scale that, get known for that, and then move into the next thing. Whereas I was doing them simultaneously, moving 3 to 5 pillars up one step at a time. But the market, I've learned, gets very confused. Okay, well, which one are you? So that would be what I would tell people. But building a personal brand, here's the key. If you brand a corporate company first and then you pivot, people know the corporate brand. So let's say you run a lawn care company, you build a lawn care company and you wash cars. You have a detailing service, right? Well, if you build a corporate brand around the lawn care and then switch to detailing, well, people are like, okay, that's a switch. Like, I don't know. Whereas if you are the brand as the personal brand that is doing lawn care service, right, but it's attached to your face, when you pivot, you're pivoting from letting your community know, hey guys, we also are now doing detailing. So if people that have lawns and own homes also have cars, it pivots with you. Whereas if you build a brand solely around lawn care and everybody knows, let's say it's called Lawn Care Co., that's the name of the company. Now you're doing detailing, you need a new name. Now people got to like transition. It's not as easy as a transition. Whereas if you build a personal brand, then it pivots with you. And the one last thing I want to say is you can do both simultaneously. When we think Steve Jobs, we think Apple. When we think Apple, we think Steve Jobs. When we think Elon Musk, we think Elon Musk and Tesla. We think Tesla, we think Elon Musk. You can do both. Whereas if you look at the current CEO of Apple, no disrespect to Tim Story, he's not as charismatic and as putting his personal brand out there as Steve Jobs is. So now, when we think Apple, we think Apple. We don't think Apple and Tim Story, right? So I always tell people it's best to brand yourself first, market yourself first. And then as you're getting clarity around what your personal brand stands for and all the things that come with building even a corporate brand and market both simultaneously at the same time. So hopefully that makes sense.
Definitely. In our area here, we have a lot of veteran-owned businesses, and a lot of them, when they get out, they do that lawn care thing right away, or they actually start it while they're still in the service, and they do the same thing you just said. They lawn care, and then, oh yeah, we do this too now. We do home repair. We do house spraying, driveway spraying, but it's hard to get the lawn care out of your mind as what they do. So they lose a lot of sales because people look at them as lawn care only instead of having another avenue of approach.
Absolutely. My partner for a lot of things we do, shout out to Sean Douglas if you get a chance to check this out, comes from military. And I think by being in the military, one of the things that I've learned is there's a lot of values, that come from that experience, right? And so being that you're a veteran, that's already an asset to leverage under your personal brand, right? If you're a Navy SEALs, that comes with a certain leverage. If you're a Marine, that comes with a certain leverage all the way throughout, right? And I can't speak to that in its entirety. I just know that that's what it comes with. A lot of people look to David Goggins, right? Navy SEAL, like you get to leverage that as a personal brand. He is the epitome of, and also Jocko Willink, right? Like these guys are like the epitome of military veterans that have done a very phenomenal job building these great personal brands. So you're exactly right. Like you want to build your personal brand. Like these are the accolades I have as a veteran. These are the accolades I have as an entrepreneur. These are the accolades I have in the corporate world. Like whatever assets you have, leverage them, right? But then let people know I am offering this service as a personal brand and it's attached to my personal brand. You're not going to change not that I know of, Rich. Like you're not going to become another person tomorrow. You're always going to be Rich LaMonica. I'm always going to be Cauveé. So it's the one thing that's not going to change. So build your marketing around you, the face. You are the face. You are the Steve Jobs in this case. And then let people be attached to the journey along the way. And then as you pivot into other things, they're still sold on your personal face and personal brand.
Outstanding. I know a lot of veterans that are listening to this and watching it right now, and a lot of first responders, they all try to do that pivot, like because the transition is a little different coming out of the service into the civilian world again. And some people say it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's just you were a civilian before, then you did X for X amount of years, and then you have to change again. But so many people try to go and, like we said earlier, just do a job. I just need a paycheck. I need to have that purpose. I got to wake up in the morning. And then there's others that jump and take the leap, like a Jocko, like a David Goggins. David Goggins built his brand basically by doing a triathlon. When he did the triathlon, that boosted him above even being a SEAL was good. Doing a triathlon with almost no training, that put him above the rest. And then what he does as a motivator is amazing. Jocko, with his war stories out of Ramadi, and telling what his team did. Not always his book, people kind of criticize him a little bit, but he tells what his team did, not what he did. He tells what he led his team to do, and he brings that to the corporate world. So he equated what he did into the corporate world to sell the entire brand, and now he has everything going from nutrition stuff and everything like that as well.
I love that quote that says, whether you think it's, I'm paraphrasing it, but basically it's like, whether you think it's hard or easy, you're right, right? Like whatever you think, if that's what you tell yourself, you're right. Like nobody can tell you otherwise. It doesn't have to be difficult as long as you remain a student. And I think one thing that I've been able to do is I take different inspiration and learning from a lot of different places. I got into spaces. I was just talking about that a little bit ago. I got into spaces because we were looking at ways that we can make music antique and give people ownership of our musical assets. So I wanted to learn more about NFTs and Web3. And now I'm back to being a rookie again because I don't know much about NFTs and Web3 and all these things. So I was like, okay, here's an opportunity to do this. Got some really great, mentors out of it. And also they're learning from me. So like we're building, we're learning, we're growing. But here's the thing. If there's somebody already out there doing it, all you got to do is reverse engineer what they did. What did David Goggins do the moment that he got out of the service? What did Jocko do the moment he got out of service? What did Sean Douglas do the moment he got out of service, right? You can learn and figure out what these guys are doing. And you mentioned this earlier where you were talking about while they're still in service, they're working a job or they're doing something. There might even be an opportunity where, you can leverage and start building some things while you're still in service, like active duty. I know Sean was doing that for quite a time. So, I'm not your commanding officer and all those things to know how that works. I'm just telling you that I know it's been done. So that's the key, is that if somebody else has done it or is doing it, you might want to pick that person up as a mentor to be like, okay, what did you do? How did you do it? Whether that's in a book or whether that's hiring them as a coach.
Definitely. And we've talked about Jocko, we talked about David Goggins, Steve Jobs, and all of them have core principles. They all have these things that make them tick. Some of them come from their family life, some of them come from their education life, and some of them come from mentors. What are some core principles that lead to success that you have seen? Yeah,
I think number one is going to be remain a student at all times, right? You've got to continue to absorb. I've read No Arrogance, No Ego, over 100 books on entrepreneurship, leadership, growth, just always learning, always growing. I love how Tony Robbins says, you're either growing or you're dying. Like there is no standing still and being stagnant. So I would first tell people to always be a student of the game. Secondly, I tell people that you need to have what I call the skill stack. All right. One, within that skill stack, think of it like prerequisites. Become a master at public speaking. Why? Because 75% of people would rather die than public speak. So that's automatically, by mastering public speaking, you're going to be in the top 25% by being a great orator. Follow that with being a great salesperson. Why? Because sales applies to every business out there. And if you're not able to sell an idea and be able to convert, your business is going to struggle, or your personal brand is going to struggle, right? Followed by the third, which is marketing. What is marketing? It's mass selling, mass storytelling. It's mass getting that message out there to be able to have a conversation, to then be able to sell and acquire a new client. So those would be some things that I would definitely tell you to have on your tool belt, right? And then the third thing that I want to leave people with is, one of our principles is relationships drive revenue. Relationships drive revenue. And I think if we keep our mind at the forefront that a relationship, let me serve first, let me be of service, and make sure that I am serving from a place of what is in your best interest versus what is in my best interest. I think that those are some really great foundational principles to include into your world.
Oh, definitely. I like all those right there. And you hit the nail on the head with public speaking. There's people that would rather just stay in a dark room with their eyes closed for months instead of getting in front of a crowd with lights shining on them while they're telling their story to them. It's heartbreaking to see people not use that talent.
Yeah, and for me, I started in like Toastmasters. There's a lot of organizations. I know if you're not in America, United States of America, that might be a little different from you, but there's tons of organizations like to really get your public speaking up. And being around the like minds is huge, right? Like you got MisFitNation right here, right? So everybody that tunes into MisFitNation, like that's already a community in itself. So being around people like Rich, being around people like myself, like just being around people that are doing that can motivate you, encourage you, inspire you, hold you accountable, right? You want to be in mastermind, you want to be in community with like-minded people, not only so that you can learn and grow, but also so that you can be amongst people and you can help the next one coming behind you, right? So it's just is this circle of life, or the circle of abundance in which that we can continue to progress toward our ideas, our dreams, our visions. And we need other people like us, because iron sharpens iron.
Definitely, iron sharpens iron. They had a great conversation with Andrew Jones on Sunday, and that's his psalm. The psalm he lives by is iron sharpens iron, and that goes to his show, Lock and Loaded Faith for Men. And he said that so many times during the show, it just resonated with me all week, and it's been my mantra all week to keep that going. That iron sharpens iron. And we got a question from the guest. It's from @Eleanor. Cauveé, you call yourself the motivational rapper. What came first for you, the beats or the bars of wisdom? Thank you, Eleanor.
I love it. So I've been around a lot of people that could write poetry raps, like it's lyrics and they just spit. I'm not that type of person. I'm a person like, I can write lyrics, but to me, that's just poetry. Like, that's not necessarily like me rapping. Like, that's just rhymes, right? However, for me, what I do is like, I'll hear a beat, and the beat, it's very weird. I know I'm strange. The beat will talk to me. I can't explain how it does it. It just does it. Usually a melody will come first, and whatever that mood of that melody gives me, the hook, and I'll come up with something like usually catchy or singing, and then I'll rap and build the song from there. So that was a great question.
Thank you, Eleanor. Hopefully that answers your question. Where did you do your TEDx speech?
That was actually in Cal State University. So in Cal State was where it was held, but it was a high school on their campus. It was kind of interesting because I had never seen that before.
It was like advanced kids or something go there or something.
I did ask, actually. I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know. But it was really cool because I had never seen where like there's a campus within a campus. So It was kind of like, I was like, that's interesting. Like, I didn't even know that existed. But yeah, it was in Cal State though. That's
pretty cool though. Now I have to look up this high school. I've never seen that either.
Yeah, I can. If you go on my LinkedIn, the guy, shout out to Kentaro Vadney. He was the high school organizer of that event, and it says the name of the TEDx, and then you could just find it from there.
Outstanding. What are some lessons that you can share that you learned along your entrepreneurial journey, that even the good and the bad, that made you to what you are now as you're moving up the pyramid now?
Yeah, let's start with the bad. So I mentioned earlier, like, you don't want to keep pivoting. It's also what we do when we're going to, education, going to university. We go to this degree, and then we lose credits, right? You don't want to pivot, really. Like, you really don't. You want to really get clarity first and decide what you want to do and then go, right? If you're going to pivot, again, I mentioned build it around your personal brand. The third thing that I was talking about a little while ago was systemize, maximize, and then pivot. Don't pivot while you're building. I thought this is hilarious. It's like hilariously not hilarious. I thought if you built the following on like, a LinkedIn or Facebook or an Instagram, like you build the following, I'm thinking my followers are going to see my posts. That is not the way it works, people. Rich is shaking his face, shaking his head. Exactly. This is not how it goes. You want to build an email list. All right. And while you're building that list, you want to segment your list. I did not do that. Still working on that problem to this day. Segmenting. We attract people that are just starting their business all the way up to celebrity level influencers. So there is a saying that says you cannot speak to everybody at once, which is true, which is why you need to segment. So number one, make sure you got your email list. You're collecting emails. Number two, make sure you're segmenting your audience. If you have a product suite, make sure that you are segmenting your audience as you're moving along, meaning that different people can invest at different levels as you learn about building a product suite, digital offers, and having different ways for people to invest into you. You want to have different sequences and segmenting that match for those offers, for those levels, right? Not everybody can afford to, like, and I'll give you just a quick example. I get asked how to do a TED Talk all the time. Like, that's probably the most requested thing people want to know. We have a course that will teach it for you for $397, right? We have, if you want me to do it with you, like build the speaker kit, build the assets, work with you on your speech. Like, it's a 6-month program. Like, that's a 5-figure program. So what I'm saying is we have different forms to figure out where you're at in your journey. But even though it's still a speaker, it's not the same level or type of speaker, right? So people that usually are at the 5-figure level are usually executives or something of that caliber. So I just say, like, no matter what you do, you want to make sure that you're collecting that data and segmenting your audience. And usually you do that with their annual revenues. Understanding where they're at in their revenue journey tells you at what level they can participate and play, with whatever it is that you do. So number 1, email list. Number 2, segmentation and systemization, right? Number 3, the biggest thing that I would tell people is, like, if you haven't started building your personal brand, start today. And if you have a name that is very common, John Smith, Jane Smith, right? Then I would tell you to have in parentheses, whatever you do, like John MisFitNation Smith, right? Jane MisFitNation Smith, because you're going to need something that's going to separate you, and so that you can stand out, to where when the Google and AIs do what they do to search information, which is called scraping, when they scrape, they index the things that you have out in the world, and they can find you, right? And start doing that today. Don't wait. Don't kick it down the can and say, I'll do it later. Do it right now. Start building your personal brand and start leveraging that today.
Outstanding. That's 3 great bits of advice there. Another question from the audience came in from @Creepsand. If you had to describe your life story in a poem, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm like, that put me on the spot. I love that question.
Thank you.
I would say phenomenal failure would be its title.
Nice.
Phenomenal failure, right? I think that majority of people don't understand this, and I want to hit this on the head. I'm going to go in for a little minute, Rich, so just bear with me because I'm very passionate about this. Everybody wants the success, and they don't understand what is happening behind the curtain, right? And I like to use going to the gym. First and foremost, do not go to someone that's got a pot belly and they're a big old fat person and try to ask them how to get abs. Like, you don't do that, right? So you're not going to go to somebody that doesn't have the success that you want to ask them, how do you become a millionaire or be successful? So stop going to people, number 1, that don't have what you want or have done what you want to do for advice. That's number 1. Number 2, when it comes to failure, there is no such thing as getting those abs and you're not going to work in the gym. Those muscles got to break. Everything's got to tear down in order for you to get the abs on the other side. It comes with pain. And we talked about this a few minutes ago. It's either going to be the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And in this case, the pain of regret would be having health issues much later on in life, right? So understand that there is not one testimony out there that was not tested. I have looked, trust me. All right. Even somebody that's a trust fund baby and that was gifted money, their test usually comes at, well, of course you had all this money. Of course you're supposed to be successful, so on and so forth. They've got to prove themselves because everybody's like, well, you got money, so it should be easy for you. Nobody's got it easy. All right. Stop looking for the easy button. It doesn't exist. If you're not willing to suffer for it, if you're not willing to sacrifice for it, A, you don't want it bad enough, and B, it's not going to come. That is not me putting a curse out there over you or speaking bad energy. It doesn't exist. Every test had a testimony. That's why people do it. The Rocky Balboa story, we see it in the movies. Every person that's a hero goes through this mountain that they got to climb. Like, that's just what it is. And it's just like looking at, as you did that, it made me think about like the stock market, right? Like, things are up, things are down. It's up, it's down. This is what it is. You're going to have some wins. But if you're thinking like, I'm just going to get all the blessings and all the successes and all the miracles of life without extracting no pain in this, it's not how it works. So if we're talking first responders and we're talking military and we're talking training, think about everything they got to do to just be accepted into the military. Like, you've got to go through pain, folks. Like, that's what it is. So I just want to set that in motion, because so many people think like, hey, I don't got to invest for this. I don't have to sacrifice for this. There won't be no pain with this. And that's just not realistic. It's not how it works.
Exactly. That's outstanding answer right there. And I like to tell everyone, life is like a roller coaster. There'll be ups, downs, there'll be twists and turns. It's what you do in the midst of all that separates you from the people to your right and left. You have to be able to get up off that roller coaster and move to the front of the car and drive that roller coaster in order to win. And I think that's the best way to live.
Yeah, and I want to add something since we mentioned David Goggins. Shout out to him. I love something that he says where he's talking about callousing your mind. But I like to take it even one step further. You got to callous your mind and your spirit. And what happens is as you keep experiencing pain, like I'm just going to tell you, just like going in the gym, eventually your muscles are sore. And every experience, you're crying about it, or you're upset about it, or you're pissed off. I don't know. However you react to bad news, right? But that's like your muscles being sore. And eventually you get to a point where when you're in the gym working on your dream, it doesn't hurt as much when you experience some pain. Why? Because your spirit and your heart and your mind has been calloused by these different experiences. Rich, really quick, I just want to throw this out here. When my first student broke 6 figures in revenue, when I helped him accomplish this, I was homeless. I was sleeping outside under the bridge in the Austin 290. And I'm homeless, and here he broke 6 figures, and I'm getting written about in the Huffington Post. It was the interesting dichotomy. But I say that saying, like, most people aren't willing to do these types of things, whether it be homeless or eat out of a trash can or lose my home, lose my games, lose my TV, lose my car, whatever it is. I don't know what the creator of life has in store for you that is going to be the challenges that is going to be given to you. But again, if you're not willing to sacrifice and suffer for your dream, you don't want it bad enough. And 2, if you think that it's going to be easy, it's not going to be. So just get right to it and understand, like, that's what it is. Like, I didn't write the rules of the game. I just know how to play.
Definitely. This isn't Staples. There's not an easy button everywhere you look in the house or in your studio, in your workplace. You have to put in that work. You have to put in some sweat equity in order to make it to the other side. Like Wayne Gretzky always said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You have to take a shot, shoot your shot. If you don't shoot that shot, you'll never know what's on the other side.
Absolutely.
You got a couple more questions popped in while you were giving that answer. This one is from Elevate 65. When the grind gets tough, what is your go-to mantra to get out on the other side? Thank you, Elevate.
I love that. Thanks, Elevate. So I don't have a mantra as far as I have affirmations, but I don't have a mantra when it gets tough. Usually for me, I like to do things that put me in a good energy, in a good frequency, in a good state. So for me, it'll be like usually a movie that makes me laugh or something that I know, like when I watch that, I'm going to laugh. It could be music to change the state. It could be the way I stand. One thing that you can do is it sounds really corny and really cheesy for people that haven't done it, but stand in Superman pose, Superman pose, dun, 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 with the hands on the hips, right? You change your state, your body, the way it's actually physically standing, it's going to change how you think. If you start fake laughing, I've never done this one, but I've heard about this one. If you fake laugh, eventually, like, your mind is going to tell your mind that you are laughing, right? Wow. Sometimes people can, like if I'm in a low place, like, and it could be just whatever it is, getting some exercise, getting out of that energy is the key. And so, like I said, for me, it's not a mantra, but I do have different things that I can do to shift state. And sometimes I'll write a song and I'll put it in a song. So it's just different things that I'll do to just change the state, change my frequency.
Outstanding. What's your go-to comedy movie?
Oh, that's a great one. My go-to comedy movie is usually going to be Friday or Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. Don't Be a Menace to South Central, Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. I'll go to Rush Hour. Like, those are usually my top 3, or like Money Talks. I love Chris Tucker. Like, he's hilarious. So those would probably be my top 3 or top 4. I
watched Friday After Next today. So it was good.
Yeah. Friday's hilarious.
All hilarious. Of them. I mean, there's the storylines, are out there, but they're funny along the way. So it's good. It keeps you laughing, keeps you humble. And Money Talks, that's a classic. That's a very classic, funny movie. Now we have Geronimo 4 said, what's harder, starting the entrepreneurship journey or the TED stage? Thank you, Geronimo 4.
Man, if you don't know how to do TED, or you don't know what goes into that, that's really hard, because people are going to just be throwing crap at the wall trying to figure out what sticks. They're both hard. There's not really a like which one is harder. They're both hard, but again, it's not necessarily as far as like. That's such a great question. It's so like, it's one of these things where, for me, there's no other way. I like, remember when 50 Cent had the album Get Rich or Die Trying, right? I'm like, get fulfilled or die trying. Like, there's no other option for me. Like, I can't do something that I hate to do. So it's like, to me, that is hard. going to a job you hate every day, waiting for Friday just to get off and to be like, okay, I'm relieved. Like there's so many people that are like, I hate Mondays. Well, why do you hate Mondays? I hate what I do. To me, that's the hardest thing. So that's the hardest thing, right? But I would just say if you are working in like as an entrepreneur and you're implementing what you are learning and you are doing what you want to do, it's a lot less hard because you are progressing. And if you're progressing, you feel that energetically. And I think that comes with a certain level of peace, even if you are struggling or going through some hard challenges. Great question, Geronimo.
Outstanding. Great answers. It's been a great chat. We blazed through 50 minutes, Cauveé. I don't know if you realize that we just blazed, like we said earlier, sometimes you're in the grind. You don't realize it's an hour. You feel like it's 5 minutes. It's been 50 minutes. It's been outstanding learning from you in this 50 minutes. And I mean, it took us a little while to get to here today. We missed our first one because I think you had illness, but it was great to have you make it today. And this has been very educational for me. I know the audience was engaged, so that's a big plus. And something we do here is we like to reach one, teach one. I think we reached more than one tonight. So thank you for your inspiration tonight, Cauveé.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll just let everybody know we've got a program that we have called Monetize You. If you want to build a personal brand, and I'm going to can I give a code right now? Can we do a code like right here live on the air? Is that cool?
Yes, you can.
All right. So the code is going to be MisFitNation. That program is $297. I'm going to give it to everybody for free. You go to inspirationengineer.com and send my team in the chat. There's a little chat on the bottom right. You send a chat. Hey, I want that Monetize You course, and then give them the code MisFitNation. And then we'll go ahead and hook you guys up with that course so that you can go through. And I teach you literally everything, a little bit about stages, how to sell, how to market, like all the things. It's a powerhouse course. It should be $597 to be honest, and not free. But I'm going to hook y'all up because I just really appreciated the questions and the energy and the time. So MisFitNation, inspirationengineer.com.
Outstanding. And before I let you go, I have to give you our two normal questions we give at the end of every show. One, what's the best way to get in contact with you if any of our audience just wants to pick your brain or have you on their show?
Yeah, the website. The website is always going to be the best way. So again, www.inspirationengineer.com.
And that's been dropped in the chat, I think 3 times now. I've dropped it in there tonight, so you can see it there. And it is also in the show notes. You'll be able to see it there. And our final question, Cauveé, you've been given 3 things a few times tonight, but now I want you to give 3 things the Misfit Nation can start doing tomorrow to be better humans.
I love it. Number 1, get you a mentor, somebody that's done what you want to do or is doing what you want to do. Number 2, get in community with like-minded entrepreneurs and personal brands. Number 3, whatever nugget that I gave you tonight that stood out and you were like, ooh, that was a nugget. I wrote that down. Start acting on that today. Procrastination kills momentum. So start working and implementing on the thing that you learned and your biggest takeaway right now.
Outstanding. Put all those in the chat as well. So those you are reading instead of listening, it's right there in the comments on all platforms right now. Cauveé, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And I wish you nothing but success moving forward with all your endeavors.
Hey, I appreciate it, Rich. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Misfit Nation. It's your boy Cauveé. I love you. Boost.
Misfit Nation, we will see you again Sunday night with David Pasqualoni. It'll be another great chat, and hopefully he can bring us the energy that Cauveé brought tonight. So then, be humble, stay hungry, and you keep hustling.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.